You know, one of the interesting things, and we only learn lessons sometimes when it happens to us, we're told, you know, be prepared, be prepared.
That's right.
And specifically, I'm talking about when the power goes out. That's when you realize why you need a flashlight. What do you mean I have to walk down the stairs in my condo building?
Exactly.
We have tips for you.
And who reminds you of all those things in the house? The mom.
The
Not to stereotype.
Always
Samantha
be prepared.
Jackson is here because it's Emergency Preparedness Week.
Yes, it is. It's Emergency Preparedness Week, and it's a great time for us to all review what we have in our homes just to make sure that we're all set and ready in case the power goes out.
So let's start with the most essential items.
Okay, so the most essential items are, people often forget that when the power goes out, you can't go to a bank machine. So make sure that you have cash in small denominations, so in case you have to run out to a store or buy anything.
That's the lesson that the young people watching at home will have to realize, because everyone carries their debit card.
That's
right,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
But because I'm a little older,
Yes.
not necessarily a little wiser, but I am a little older, I always
Can't tell,
I always make
Leslie.
sure I have some cash. So that is an important tip.
Always have small denominations. As well, make sure that you have some tools for the home in case you need to do anything around the house. So, of course, a flashlight makes a lot of sense, flashlight. Also, screwdrivers, a lighter, have some
For the candles,
a charger that's standalone,
How
and
many
batteries.
times have we gone looking for matches when the power's out? Never
Yes,
mind
and you
candles.
can't find them.
You
You
can't
can't find them in the
Yeah,
dark.
that's
So
a
make
good
sure
tip.
that you have that on hand. Now, if you're a family with children at hand, they might be freaking out a little bit.
Keep them busy.
Keep them busy. So make sure that you have some toys and games for them to play. They can play it by flashlight. There's also Toronto Hydro has some games that you can play in the dark that you can download from the site. So you can play a number of games in the dark that can keep them busy so that they're not completely
Okay,
going
so
crazy.
you're downloading it, but there's no power. Is it just ideas? Or?
No. There's a kit that you can have as part
In
of your
advance,
emergency
Leslie.
preparedness.
in advance. That's
in
called
advance.
preparedness, which is
It's
why you're here.
preparedness. Yes.
I think it's really important to keep everything together. Like I keep all my stuff in a box, you know, in a certain closet, because you're not going to want to scramble and say, oh, where was that and where are the batteries? You know, keep it in one central.
It's actually a kit.
You actually share your shoe closet with this preparedness box? I'm impressed. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
even actually have waterproof matches and everything.
Yeah.
I've done the story so many times, and finally I decided, once I moved into a condo and I've had so many blackouts.
It makes a lot of sense.
But
and
here's the thing, though, Samantha, is how often do you remind your family of these things? Because sometimes, you know, we'll see a story in the news.
Yes.
We get reminded. We're like, okay, we got to do that. Put it in a box. And then nothing happens for a long time, and people forget about it.
I think it should be I think it should be seasonally. So if we look at when there's severe weather outages, it's usually in the spring and the fall and the change of weather. So maybe twice a year you can look at it.
Yeah,
So
do
when
it when you check your smoke alarms.
When you check your smoke alarms,
both covered those
absolutely.
stories.
And you
Daylight
keep it all
saving.
together. Another thing that's really important is making sure that you have enough water. So Toronto Hydro says that you need to have at least 3 liters of water per day per person. As well, if you have small children, make sure that they have their their formula or any kind of food that they might have. Also, non-perishable food should be kept.
Tuna, beans, all that.
Canned
kind of
goods
I've
as well.
never heard that before. The 3 liters
3
per
liters
person
per day. And you should
water.
plan for 72 hours. So always be prepared for 3 days, even though
But the tap doesn't stop. Still
You
works.
never know.
No,
You
this is true.
never
I've had at
know.
least 3 blackouts while I've been living in this condo, mostly from construction or down hydro wires.
Had a lot of
Because I
bad things
live on the
happen to you.
I live on the 27th floor, so water actually stops because they can't pump the water up.
Yeah.
We know
and
whose
so you
house
actually
we'll be
need-
going to when emergency.
And you'll have nice shoes too, right?
Party at Mina's.
But that's why, if anything, I need more water than the 3 liters per day because I need it to
Yes.
flush the toilets, to wash my
BYOW
hands.
part.
Especially with small children. It's
And
really
you can do
important.
without food for a while, but not water.
One of the most important things, obviously, that you should have all the time is a first aid kit in your house.
A first aid kit, it's really, really important, especially in the emergency preparedness kit. And that's because if something happens when the power goes out and somebody gets hurt, you want to be able to attend to them as soon as possible. Of course, you're going to call for assistance if it's severe on your cell phone that you charge. But in the short term, make sure that you have that on site as well.
Diapers?
So sometimes people don't forget that if you've got a small child who's in pull-ups or diapers, you might need to have some available for them. And if you're scrounging around in the dark, it's a lot easier just to have it on site with you.
In the box.
In the box.
Let me ask you a question. I don't know if we were talking about this, but the phone. I know sometimes if the power's out, you can't necessarily charge
That's
the
why
phone.
it's a car charger.
Can you get, well, the car, I guess, is the,
Yeah, the car
Can you
charger.
buy another battery for your phone just in case it's already charged? iPhone might be a little bit
iPhones
tough.
I think
don't
it depends
have
on the type of phone that you
Yeah.
have, so you'd have to look into what
Anyway,
kind of
and if the
amenities you can
Power's
get.
out. Doesn't it also knock out the cell tower?
possible.
Sometimes it does.
That's
so
why we see
it's
baby
touch and
blues.
go.
When there's a power out, it'll come
Nothing
around.
else to do.
Nothing else
That's
to do.
another
If you
story.
get my drift.
So also as well, just remember that you should have this on site ready for your family to go just in case anything happens in the short term.
All great tips, and happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day to you too.